The sound wasn't loud. That's what scared me. It wasn't a bang or a crash. It was metal scraping against metal, slow, deliberate, like someone opening something they knew didn't belong to them. I stood barefoot in my hallway, coffee still warm in my hand, and understood something was very wrong. If you love powerful stories where entitlement meets consequences, you don't want to miss this. But before we continue, tell us where you're watching from. It honestly makes us happy to see how far these stories travel. Now listen. I live in a quiet HOA neighborhood. Perfect lawns, identical mailboxes, the kind of place where neighbors smile politely and spy through their blinds like it's an Olympic sport. I moved there for peace after years of chaos. For a while, I thought I'd found it. Then Karen decided my garage was her business. Everyone called her helpful. Clipboard always in hand, sunglasses too big, smile stretched tighter than HOA bylaws. She wasn't elected. She just appointed herself the neighborhood enforcer. She'd already warned me twice. My trash can was visible too long. My truck was too loud while parked. I kept my head down, followed the rules, hoped she'd move on. That morning, I was home on a rare weekday off. No plans, just quiet until I heard it again. That sound. I walked toward the garage, heart thudding, telling myself it was nothing. Wind, a neighbor, anything. Then I heard her voice, calm, confident, comfortable. I just need to make sure this area is compliant. I froze. The garage door was halfway open and Karen was inside, not knocking, not calling, walking around like she owned the place. Something in me didn't panic, it sharpened. I stepped back, pulled out my phone, and hit record. Because when people like Karen cross a line, the smartest thing you can do is let them keep walking. Karen didn't even look surprised when I walked into the garage. She was fully inside now, peering into cabinets, scribbling on her clipboard like my garage was a showroom she planned to fail. Tools neatly hung, floor clean, truck parked straight, not a single violation in sight. I asked her what she thought she was doing. She smiled. That tight, rehearsed smile. "Oh, good, you're home," she said. "This will only take a minute." A minute. She told me the HOA had received concerns, fire hazards, improper storage, emergency access provisions. She said it all smoothly, confidently, like saying the words made them true. I told her she was trespassing. She didn't apologize, didn't stop writing. She warned me refusing an inspection could result in fines. That's when something clicked. I stepped back out of the garage without another word. She kept talking, still confident, still wrong. I reached over and pressed the wall button. The garage door began to close. Slowly. Karen turned, confused. "Wait, what are you doing?" I didn't answer. The door sealed shut. Then I locked the interior door leading into the house. Silence. For half a second. Then pounding. My name. Threats. HOA jargon flying like panic confetti. I stood there calmly, phone still recording, heart finally steady. Because here's what Karen didn't know. I wasn't trapping her. I was documenting her, and I was about to make a call that would turn her clipboard into evidence. Karen lost control fast. At first, it was all authority, shouting through the door about bylaws, emergency clauses, and how I was making a very big mistake. Then the banging started, harder, louder, desperate enough to draw attention. And it worked. Curtains shifted, doors opened, phones came out. I stayed on my driveway, leaning casually against my truck, phone still recording. When the dispatcher told me units were en route, 8 minutes out, I almost smiled. 8 minutes was plenty of time for Karen to destroy her own credibility. Her tone changed again. Now she was demanding. Said she felt unsafe. Said the garage was too dark. Said she might call the police herself. I raised my voice just enough for the neighbors to hear and told her the door would open when law enforcement arrived for her safety and mine. That's when the lies started tumbling out. She claimed she had permission from my wife. I'm not married. She claimed the HOA president approved it. I'd spoken to him 2 days earlier. Each lie sloppier than the last. The crowd grew. Someone 3 houses down was openly filming. An older man across the street shook his head like he'd been waiting years for this moment. Karen noticed. She snapped. She screamed that I was holding her hostage. That word echoed, hostage, loud enough to make everyone stop and stare. Then came the fake crying. Loud, performative, strategic. Until the sirens hit the street, the crying stopped instantly, and suddenly Karen wanted to talk this out. If you're enjoying this story, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps these stories reach more people. The first sheriff's cruiser rolled in slow, lights calm but undeniable. Uh, Neighbors stepped fully onto their lawns now. This wasn't HOA gossip anymore. This was a spectacle. I explained the situation plainly. A woman had entered my locked garage without permission and refused to leave. No drama, just facts. The deputy knocked on the garage door. Ma'am, this is the sheriff's department. Are you inside? Karen exploded. She shouted about unlawful imprisonment, abuse of power, and demanded they arrest me. The deputy didn't react. He simply asked her why she was inside the garage. I was inspecting private property for compliance. That sentence ended her. They asked me if I'd given permission. No. If there was an emergency. No. If she had legal authority. No. When the door opened, Karen stepped out slowly. Sunglasses gone, clipboard, clutched like armor. She wouldn't look at anyone. The deputies separated us. One asked if I wanted to press charges for trespassing. Then the twist. 6 months earlier, the previous homeowner had filed a formal complaint against Karen for the exact same behavior. She'd been warned in writing, never enter private property again without consent. She'd signed it. The citation was issued, statements taken, video collected, mine and 3 neighbors. As the deputies left, one neighbor thanked me. Another admitted Karen once walked into her backyard uninvited. By the next HOA meeting, Karen resigned. Now the neighborhood is still quiet, but different. No more blinds twitching, no more clipboards, because some people confuse authority with intimidation. And sometimes the sweetest revenge is letting the law explain the difference. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from.